Steve Jobs didn't want the App Store initially. He wanted everything to be a web app, you know that. But in those days, the web was not there. But now the web can do the fancy animations. It can do all of that stuff. Like, I look at native apps now because I spent so much time building this progressive web app. And I'm like, what do they really have over a progressive web app?
Welcome to SaaS That App, building B2B web applications, the podcast where we share real-world stories, practical advice, and tech insights for those building or thinking about starting a tech-enabled business. I'm your co-host, Aaron Marchbanks.
And I'm Justin Edwards. Each week we bring you the stories, strategies, and insights you need to build your SaaS or tech-enabled business smarter, not harder. Let's dive right in. Hey, happy Friday, Aaron. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Love me some Friday. Always seems like the catch-up day of the week, when it's the one day I can guard against meetings and actually get some stuff done.
If I have any contribution to company culture, it's that we phone in Fridays, baby. I love it. However, this Friday, we're not phoned in because it is the earliest we have ever recorded a podcast. It is 9 a.m. U.S. time. And the reason we are here quite so early at the golden hour in the morning is that we're talking to someone who is located in beautiful, wonderful Vietnam. Our guest today is Milan Milutinovic. He informs me he is 100% Serbian. And for our astute listeners, if you thought that it was the former president of Serbia, it's not. It's a different Milan Milutinovic. He hails from Australia. He's 100% Serbian as well, but he lives everywhere. He spent many years on the road as a touring blues musician. He does vocals and guitar, which is awesome. And he's been living as a digital nomad for over 6 years. He pivoted into tech sometime after his musician stint. And at this point has started a app that helps people with live events and maybe online events too, but a conference companion app. Milan, welcome to the pod.
Hey, thank you so much. And great intro and good job on the name. So I salute you. Thank you very much.
ChatGPT and I spent some time together. Like, I think it's this, and how do you pronounce the S? I'm sure I didn't do very well, but
I used to do so much radio, and they'd always ask me before the show, like, is it like this? And then we'd get on air like, Milan. It's just Milan. They'd struggle with it.
Keep it simple.
Yeah. It's Eminem, right? That's the... Anyway.
Eminem, baby, let's go. I wasn't a rapper, though. I can't spit any rhymes.
Not a rapper, not the former president of Serbia, but I promise it won't be a disappointment.
Wait a second. Who did we book?
No. Like, who's this?
Can you tell people just a little bit of your background and your journey and, just a quick summary?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you touched on the point, all the Serbian stuff, and I don't sound very Serbian. It's because I grew up in Australia. So my parents grew up in Serbia, and they migrated to Australia in the late 80s. So I grew up in Melbourne, in Australia, actually. But we spoke Serbian at home. We would visit Serbia from time to time. And my dad was also a software guy, so the code has been running through the blood. My uncle is a software developer. It's kind of it's a family profession, I guess. But before that, I didn't really like school when I was growing up. I didn't really like rules. I didn't really like people telling me what to do. And I just fell in love with music, and that was kind of a way to be creative. It was a way to be free. So I started playing guitar, got really inspired by bands like the Beatles, the Doors, just your kind of classic rock and roll, Nirvana. And then I just got more and more into the blues, that deep blues, that real deep Mississippi type blues, and just fell in love with artists like Howlin' Wolf, John Lee Hooker, even further back like Son House, Robert Johnson, Charlie Patton. I just thought there was some magic in the blues that inspired me somehow. And so I kind of started a blues band instead of going to university. I did about 6 months at school, and I was like, no, I want to be a rock star. I don't know about that. Kind of a ridiculous thing to say. And my parents weren't very happy with it. I thought it was a bit crazy. But, started performing, and I've always enjoyed the stage. I've always enjoyed stagecraft and watching a great performance. And I've always loved creativity and people expressing themselves. So I had a band. It was called the New Savages. We recorded 4 albums. I wrote a ton of songs. They're on Spotify and YouTube if you really want to look it up. I had like a big afro, and I look a bit funny. And you can hear me sing and this deep voice. We used to introduce ourselves as a mix between Jim Morrison and Johnny Cash. And if they had a baby and it was made by the Blues or something like that. And
that's awesome.
So it was great. And I lived on the road, basically. I mean, in our best year, I think we did 100 shows in one year all across Australia. We would drive from Melbourne to Sydney. It's like a 10-hour drive. And we'd drive there on Thursday to play a Thursday night show. And they would be like, all right, we're in another state. Let's go to like Port Macquarie or somewhere else. We'd go to like another little city somewhere else. And then we'd drive back and we kind of went all over Australia. We went through the whole country. And then during COVID, the music career kind of ended abruptly overnight, but it was kind of getting there. I was kind of burnt out from music. It's kind of the hardest thing in the world to make a living from. And I was giving it my absolute best. I was living like a starving artist. I was just getting by. The dream keeps you alive, and the little bits of money that come in here and there, and just the lifestyle and the road keeps you alive. And then that kind of ended during the pandemic and stuff. But I'd been flirting with programming while I was a musician, and I hated programming at school as well. I just didn't like being told what to do. But I got into programming because my band needed a website.
Ha ha, necessity.
Yeah, it was necessity. And it was something like, I think it was, I want to say 2014. It was solid 12 years ago now or something like that. And even then there was Wix. Wix has been around for a million years, maybe. It's prehistoric. There was WordPress, obviously, and there was all these platforms. And I was like, well, maybe I'll just like learn this HTML code. I had a friend he was a web developer and he worked for himself. I think I was about 18 or 19 and he was a bit older than me. He was like 10 years older. He was 27. And I remember we would go out and have drinks and I'm like, we're drinking and it's late. You got to get up early in the morning. He's like, no, I'll work for myself. It's okay. I can wake up a bit later. I was like, whoa, okay. And I'm like, what do you do? And he's like, I'm in tech, I'm a developer. I'm like, whoa. That sounds like you're like a professional. And I'm like, did you go to university? He's like, no. I'm like, great. If you can do it, so can I.
You're checking all the boxes.
You got money to be out drinking. You don't have to get up in the morning and you didn't go to school. Tell me more about this.
I was like, this is like rock and roll, man. That's the dream, right? I thought that's what music was for, right? You know, maybe you've got a good path as well. And I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And my dad was convinced that I would never learn how to be a programmer just from like YouTube and self-teaching. So I kind of had someone to prove wrong as well, which is good. I think having a bit of a chip on your shoulder can push you far in this life. Like I was watching tutorials on YouTube about HTML and CSS at YouTube University. That was my university. I just lived on YouTube. I fell in love with it so quickly. And I felt that like programming was just so natural to me in a way that like, I just remember like trying to learn how to play guitar and singing and to like dance while I've got a guitar in my hand. I was like, man, I'm not this cool. This is so much harder. But I'm like, oh, that code, it just makes sense. It's just like, I just felt so comfortable in that space very quickly. And I kind of fell in love with it as well. But I was like in the middle of, like I had a band that seemed to have some potential. I was 23. I mean, don't we all want to be rock stars then? It's so much more glamorous then to be rich and famous and all that. It's funny when you get older, you're like, I don't know about that. It's actually pretty good to be anonymous.
Rich seems good. The fame, I'm not really interested in.
Yeah, fame sucks. Like, I admired the Beatles so much, and I still do. I mean, it's great music, but like, they kind of were prisoners of that fame. Like, I can't just walk around Vietnam. Imagine you're that famous and people like running at you and all that stuff. So it's kind of worked out well in the end. And that was a little side hustle thing, was like I would make websites for other artists. I'd make them WordPress websites and stuff that they could edit and things like that. And so that was a little bit of side hustle money. I was trying to get some money together to keep the band going. And then when we started getting a bit more steam, I kind of left the programming on the side for a little bit. But it was still in there. And then there was some time, I want to say in 2019 or so, I was kind of getting burnt out from music. Just living on the road, all the performing, all the pressure. It was so much. And writing my own music and like trying to make people love me and all this stuff and whatever. Like it's such a difficult thing to do. It was kind of just getting to me. And I just kind of wanted to get back into programming. Right before COVID, I was really starting to get back into learning how to program and everything. And I was like, I'd set up WordPress sites and everything, but I was like, oh, you can like edit the admin interface. And I was really understanding how the platform worked, which I found really exciting. I was like, oh, you can do anything. Like, wow, this is like a blank canvas. But even better, like WordPress is like your guitar or something. And it's like a whole instrument. It's pretty cool, right? And I was like, this is just going to be such an easier way to make money and to survive in this world and to like live, basically. And then during COVID and the pandemic, the music career kind of ended. And so I'd just gotten this kind of part-time gig doing a couple hours a week. It was fully remote. And then I was like, okay, let me just go full in on this. It was a great company called Evergreen Connect in Australia. It was like a vertical SaaS for like plant nurseries, basically. It's like inventory management software and all this stuff. And it was a small team, and they would kind of let me build interfaces and run wild. And I had a great relationship with my product manager, and it was cool. Like we were building things. Like we built a platform that people could like buy and sell plants, and it would do like $100 million a year. And I was like, wow, I like built that. That's like crazy. And I remember when I was building it, I'm just in a room by myself in a laptop, it was a fully remote team. And I'm working on this thing for like 3 months. I'm like, are they going to fire me? Like, is anyone going to use this thing? Like, they've just kind of let me build this entire product. They've kind of let me run wild with guidance, of course. But like, I had a lot of creative freedom, and I built this thing, and like, they gave me a call at the end. And I was like, oh, fuck, they're going to fire me. Like, you've just been in your room coding away for 3 months. There's no way. And they're like, yo, we want to give you a raise. I'm like, oh my God, amazing. Like, I genuinely was like that. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I stayed with them. I would pick up some other kind of freelance work from time to time. But that job allowed me to travel the world. So I kind of moved to Serbia.
Real quick, this episode is brought to you by Delta Systems, which is what Aaron and I do when we're not talking through microphones to you, the people of the internet. We've got a really, really great software team here, and we love to work with cool people on cool projects. So if that sounds like you and you've got a problem or you're in some kind of a jam, go to deltasystems.com, grab a time with us. We can beat up on your problem together, and if there's a fit there, amazing, we'll help you out. So deltasystems.com, grab an appointment, and hey, maybe we can work together.
When I moved to Serbia, I inherited a house in Serbia in Niš. So I kind of got stuck with this old abandoned house that my dad grew up in. So it's all the stories of my dad programming, and my dad learned how to code before it was code. We were saying this off air before at the university to go in there and have punch cards and all this stuff, and told me all these stories. So I kind of always wanted to go to Niš in Serbia and kind of see like that life that my dad lived and my parents lived there in that city. That's where they met. I just kind of wanted to have that context, understand who I am as well. And I'm going to speak the language. I'm a citizen. I'm like, yeah, why not? Let's check it out. There's a really strong engineering culture in that city. And I think in the whole Balkans in general, like, I think there's a lot of talent, a lot of smart people. If you go and play chess in the park in Serbia, you better be ready for it. Like, some of these old men are they're going to do some damage to you. You know what I mean? So once I started traveling, and from Serbia, I was looking for community and looking for people to connect with. I was quite lonely at the beginning. And when I started attending conferences and kind of like organized events, I was like, these are great places to meet people, great places to meet my people. And so there was a festival in Bulgaria. So in Bulgaria, there's this festival called Bansko Nomad Fest. And it's about 3 hours away from Niš. And I went there once because I was just typing. I'm like, what am I? I'm like Australian, Serbian, who am I? Like, what am I? And I was just like, oh, I'm a digital nomad. Maybe I'm a digital nomad. I'm like working remotely. Like, who am I in this world? Like, I'm not a musician anymore. I had this identity crisis and everything. And I was like, oh, this thing looks amazing. And it was all like freedom and like travel the world and you're a nomad. I was like, oh, this is cool, man. Like, these are my people. And I went to the event, and it kind of opened my eyes to so many things. And I met so many people that are living this lifestyle and so many professions, but kind of that nomadic way of life. And I was like, oh, like, I'm not the only one that wants to live on the road. Like, I've always wanted to be on the road. That was kind of the whole point of being in a band, was to just go on the road. I was like, we're touring Australia. The dream was to do the world tour. It's like, we're sold out shows in Japan and everything. You know what I mean? Yeah, and then I started attending these kind of events. And then in Serbia as well, like, I started going to conferences in the Serbian language. I speak Serbian, and it was like, I met a lot of great people there as well. And I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, this is really important for people to have these kind of events. It opened up the city for me. It would open up a whole destination for me because I'd meet all these people at the conference there. I'd go to them socially, but also I'd just be picking up, okay, he does that, she does that. You're meeting quality people in various fields of life. And I was like, I'm building like a professional network. This is really cool. But I was always disappointed by the apps. There would always be an event app or something that's ostensibly there to connect us. And half the time the people would forget about it on the second day or something, or that they'd be muttering that it's not very good or anything. And I just always thought like, throw me in a cave for 3 months, and I did it before, and maybe I can make something. I can build a product and take it to market. Because I was kind of really missing that feeling of also like when you're a musician on the road, like you're an entrepreneur, really. I kind of quit because I got burnt out of doing sales. Everybody kept saying to me, they're like, oh, but you're doing what you love and all that. I'm like, all I'm doing is calling festival organizers, trying to pitch them to book my band. I'm like calling up venues, like the amount of cold calls I used to do. I'd be on that phone. I was hustling those blues festivals in Australia. It was amazing. And I thought, well, okay, this, like if I built a product for a conference, it'd be kind of the same thing. Like I did it once. I got on the phones and I called them all. And I could do it for software. And then I looked at like some of the competing players in the market and I saw what the organizers were paying for these apps. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like I'll build this for free. I'll do this just to have a great time, just to build something, just to express my soul and my spirit, put it in a product. And I had the idea brewing in me for a while and attended a lot of events. Nomad Cruise was like a life-changing event for me. It was like a cruise ship, 12 days conference on a cruise ship, 300 digital nomads sailing from Spain all the way to Brazil. So you start in Spain, in Tenerife, you wake up in Brazil, 300 people. It's like this sense of, it's like we went to school together or something. We're like alumni. It's like we're on this amazing adventure together. And then it continued and we went on down Brazil and we made it all the way to Argentina. And I lived in Argentina I booked a week and I stayed there for 3 or 4 months. I didn't want to leave ever. It was amazing. I just loved it. I started learning how to speak Spanish. And that was really important for me because I was like, I speak Serbian and English. I had this identity crisis, third culture type thing. And I'm like, well, throw in another language and see what happens. I was like, oh, learn that Spanish. And then I'm like, oh, Spanish is kind of similar to Serbian as well. Like, I wasn't expecting that. There's still like a Latin root in Slavic languages. Kind of interesting.
We did our intro call and I told you where I live and you started speaking Spanish to me. I was like, whoa, holy cow, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. No, I love Spanish, man. Beautiful language. It's so cool. Like we grew up in the English-speaking world, but there's so much beautiful music, especially in Serbia. It's such amazing music that kind of doesn't get that far out of the Balkans. I mean, because you don't understand the words, but it's beautiful, beautiful. I mean, Serbian music, it's a bit like the blues really as well. This goes back to, well, the name of the company and everything, Conference Cowboy, a bit of a silly name. Where does Conference Cowboy come from? Actually, before the app, I was going to launch this like singer-songwriter project in Serbia called Cowboy Toma. Toma Zdravkovic is like Serbia's Johnny Cash. And he writes these like sad songs and he sings and he's amazing. And he's like a national icon over there. And I was like, oh, I could do him with the guitar and a cowboy hat. You know, I'm from Australia or something. And that would be like quite an interesting show. Like people would pay tickets for that. That never happened. It may well happen at some point in the future. But this cowboy thing kind of floating in my head. And I was like, cowboys are fun. You know, the blues is a bit sad. Cowboys are fun. Let's be more entertaining or something. And this stuff was brewing, but I didn't have the time to lock into this thing. And then after I'd attended enough of these nomad events, I decided to put on a conference in Serbia called the Niche Nomad Weekend. So we brought digital nomads to Serbia and we had a great time there. We were there for about 4 days, I think. And so I felt that pain of the organizer. I was like, I just wanted to feel the pain. I don't know. I wanted to know what it's like, how much it hurts to organize. I wanted to feel it, to understand my customer really. So I went through that and that was great. And then I didn't know what to do. And I quit my job and I bought a plane ticket at a friend in Thailand, owned a resort. I didn't know what to do. I just started working out every day at his resort. Just every day we started working out. We're filming it. It's on Instagram. We're doing this like workout challenge. I was like, oh my God. And I actually lost like 10 kilos in like 2 months. It was amazing. We were like drinking the fresh juice at his resort. It was a Tiki Beach resort in Copenhagen in Thailand.
Sorry, it's almost 25 pounds for our metrically disabled listeners.
Sorry, you guys are American.
No, you're good. It's just as Americans who do the pound thing.
Yeah, 20. No, I know. It's 2.2 pounds for 1 kilo. That's the math I work with here. So after Copenhagen and all this working out and everything and not having a job and not being a developer and now I'm an influencer I'm like a weight loss influencer now. So what am I doing like with my life? What is going on? How did this happen? I'm doing this challenge. It's kind of fun. But after about 2 months, my visa was expiring and I was like, all right, time to hit the road again. And I came to Vietnam in Da Nang. And this city, I remember getting off the plane and I was just like, I'm home. I don't know what happened. I walk out and I'm walking to find the Grab driver, like the taxi driver, Uber equivalent here in Southeast Asia. And he's driving just through the city. And I'm like, I just love this place. Like, what is love? What is love? Who am I? Like, this is love. Love at first sight. You know what I mean? So I just immediately felt this amazing energy. I felt that in Buenos Aires as well. These two cities have really inspired me a lot. I learned how to speak Spanish in a few months in Buenos Aires. And I remember I got off that plane in Buenos Aires and the sun set so late. It was like 10 p.m. or something. And it was like the sun was in the sky. I was like, what is this place? The sun never sets up Buenos Aires. What an amazing city. Came to Da Nang, and Da Nang is the highest value money city in the world. Like for pound, your dollar is going to go, it cannot possibly go further than it goes here. I mean, the quality of the food, the accommodation, like I'm staying in a 4-star hotel. It's less than 600 American dollars a month. You know what I mean? They got like clean sheets every day. I got fresh towels every day. I got a gym upstairs. I got a pool. You know what I mean? So I can focus as a founder, do all I need to do because I'm kind of in this. I have some friends helping me here and there, but it's by and large, it's a one-man show for now. And it's a lot to build a product, to market it, to sell it. I mean, as anyone can know. So it's so important. I'm like, look at that fresh towel. You know what I mean? It's like, do that workout. I'm like, I know, I got that pool to jump into. I can focus. My mental bandwidth can stay very much in this to make sure we can execute this as we need to execute it. And so I started building it.
It's always fun talking to people who haven't traveled in Southeast Asia where I explain like what the accommodations are like and how things are. And they're like, oh, but I don't have that kind of money. I'm like, yeah, you do. That is cheaper than staying at a Days Inn in the States.
Of course.
It's crazy.
There's a hotel I love in Bangkok. It's called the Grand Sheraton Sukhumvit. It's right on Sukhumvit in the middle of Bangkok. But they literally have a jazz club on the second floor. If you're like a member or whatever, you have like the piano happy hour, everything's included with the stay. And then if you're there for the piano happy hour, you get to stay and you can get your best seats that you want for the jazz show, which they have every night. They have curtains, so they just rope the whole thing off. They have amazing jazz acts too there. And it's just like, oh, that's got to cost like $1 million. It's like, no, it's like $150 a night. It's nothing.
It's truly incredible. And when I left Australia, I went to Serbia. Serbia was also I was like, okay, I'm much wealthier than I realized if I stay in some of these countries. Like I have a lot of leverage here from the Geo-Arbitrage. And it's like, what's your runway? All these like companies are raising all this money and they're worried about their runway. I'm like, dude, I never die. I'm just here forever. You know, I can scrape a couple $1,000s a month. That's all I need to live incredibly well here. I'll find it. It'll find me.
We just had a guest on a couple episodes ago, Jonathan Mendonza, but the episode title was basically Cockroach Mode, but it's exactly what you're saying, where it's just like, you can't kill me. Like,
don't die. I would love to know who I could attribute this to, but there was some podcast I listened to a couple of months ago, and it was some guy, and he was just like, I can't even remember what industry he was in, but he said he just kept showing up everywhere, talking to everybody, all of his customers, a lot of people skeptical, a lot of people didn't want to know him, but he just didn't die. And they'd all eventually, what are you, like, show me what you're working on. You know what I mean? It's just, don't die, find your customers, and just stay around them. And the great thing for me is I just get to go to conferences. I can go to any conference and my customers there. I can just go to the barbershop conference for barbers. It's like anything, hairdressers, like all of them. Everyone needs an event app if the conference is big enough.
My market is any group of people who might get together and gather. It's a pretty broad market and it's pretty easy to find those folks. Just look for a large gathering of people and then be there. So
yeah, that was how I could throw myself in there. I've got a reason to be there.
Tell me a little bit about your product, how people engage with it, what problem it solves, how does it work?
Yeah, so the products are ostensibly, it's B2B. So the conference organizer is my customer. So they'll purchase, and I'm still figuring out, it's still early days. It's been a year in total from first line of code written. MVP was launched in March last year. The first event was Vietnam Nomad Fest here. It was the Digital Nomad Festival and Conference here in Vietnam. So that was the home of the app as well. So the organizer is my customer, and then it's basically like a little social network in itself for the conference. So especially these nomad events, they'll last a week, maybe 2 weeks. They'll have events pop up all over the city. People who are attending will create their own meetups and things like that. We call them unconference sessions, but it's basically just like attendees will make their own events and stuff like that. And so like it was so complicated to follow these schedules and all of this stuff. And I was like, it would be great if we had a tool there and you could see who else is at the conference. And the product has like an interactive map. It's very easy for people to add venues there and to attach events there. And so like during this period where you've got hundreds of people in one space that are really ready to connect and creating all of these amazing events, having an app just keeps everyone on the same page. It's such a communications nightmare to put on an event for a whole city with events happening all over. And it's like events are created in the moment as well. So it's very important just be able to boom, add them on the phone in there. You know what I mean? And it's important to have a vehicle that does that. So it's like your classic kind of events app as well. You have like attendee profiles. It also handles ticketing as well, which is very interesting. I think a lot of the other event apps don't handle ticketing in app because I think Apple App Store is quite hostile to app purchases. So it's actually a progressive web app as well, which is finally becoming a kind of first-class app in itself. It really feels like native, and the browser is able to do so much more now. The browser can render so much quicker now. So it's actually a progressive web app native app, which I haven't seen any other products out there that are PWA first, but I want to fight the fight for the open web, you know what I mean, as well. But it gives you these kind of tools like ticketing and things like that. You can sell ticket upgrades within the app itself. So it's kind of, I'm trying to eventually, I would like to build an event management operating system so that like all aspects of tech can be consolidated in one space for the events, you know, and the people can like look up all the talks and that they could be in the app itself. Like it's a repository of so much information, you know, the conversations that people have. It's like, there's a forum in the app that people can leave threads and talk to each other, like leave comments on people's talks and things like that. So it's a place that people can connect and it's amazing. It's incredible.
Let me highlight a couple of things you said there. So the PWAs, for folks who aren't familiar, it's progressive web app. And basically what it is it's like a very ambitious website. So it kind of looks and feels like you're installing an app, but it's just a website. Why that's important is it removes Apple and Android from the discussion. They don't get a cut of the money and they don't get to determine who's allowed to put what on your phone and who's allowed to do what. So it is basically taking away gatekeepers, and anyone who is IFF, digital freedom minded, very excited about PWAs because it basically gets rid of these gatekeepers and people who are causing problems. And it's not an indefensible point of view. I mean, Apple was scraping 30% from people for on all purchases.
Oh, they're Uncle Sam. They're Uncle Sam number 2. They're taking 30%. It's crazy.
Well, then the court told them they can't do that anymore. And so they complied with that by not really changing anything. And then the court smacked them down again and sanctioned them. And they said they did malicious compliance by following the letter of the order and not the spirit of it. So yeah, Apple is not a hero by any stretch. They're horrible to work with from the app side. So super happy to see people pushing PWAs out.
Well, and the walls of the garden continue to get higher and thicker around all of them. And Android's not terribly far behind. And some of that's out of necessity.
You know what's interesting? Steve Jobs didn't want the App Store initially. He wanted everything to be a web app, you know that. But in those days, the web was not there. But now the web can do the fancy animations. It can do all of that stuff. Like, I look at native apps now because I spent so much time building this progressive web app. And I'm like, what do they really have over a progressive web app? Well, okay, maybe a slightly cleaner install experience on iPhone because
Apple makes it hard to use them. Yeah.
They're really trying to make it as hard as they can. But like, they're slowly relenting on everything. Like, they're allowing push notifications. So you can send push notifications and they can be branded. So this is what is really cool and innovative about Conference Cowboy. It's a fully white labeled experience for the organizer. Because I used to think, well, every conference, every festival has to have its own website. Well, they should all have their own app as well. And this should become like a platform to then create one for this festival and this one here. And that was kind of the spirit of what I was building. I was like, oh, is this going to be like an open source project or something? Or I don't know. But then I was like, maybe it could be in the future. I don't know. But decided to ask people for money. The problem with open source, the problem with doing things for free is people just want you to do more and more and more and more of it. And it's not ideal. But there's a lot of amazing open source software, but I guess they're businesses too. It's just a business model I don't really understand.
What's your monetization model for Conference Cowboy? It's a direct sale to a conference organizer?
Yeah, so right now it's basically that. And I'm still figuring out all the pricing as we speak. I go back and forth. I just redesigned the whole kind of marketing page and the imagery. And we have a mascot even. His name is Banjo. He's a cowboy Yeti.
That's fantastic. Our neighbors had a dog named Banjo, so...
Oh, really? It's
Yes.
just a lovable name, right?
A beagle. A very, very large beagle named Banjo.
I gave him a backstory. He plays a banjo because his name is Banjo, and it's Conference Cowboy, and he's like a cowboy Yeti. And I just thought, give him some funny little backstory. He's from Australia. He's like a singer-songwriter. He's me in this little mascot kind of thing. That was like some founder lore I thought I'd throw in there if you're like paying attention on the marketing side.
Love it.
And so the pricing model for now is it's kind of a setup fee, and then I charge per attendee. But I'm expanding all of the ticketing platform now. So like the way we did it in the events past, it's been in production now, I think I want to say 9 events, maybe, since March. And we're recording this in January. So that's about 10 months of being in production. The largest event that it's serviced is that Bansko Nomad Fest. So that was about 800 people. I remember 2 days before Bansko Nomad Fest, I only jumped in a river and I was like, what am I doing? What have I done? People could kill me. Like, there's so many people. Like, it's just a freak out. It was like getting on the big stage the first time. I remember the first time I played to an audience of 3,000 people. I remember the first 15 minutes. I'm like, I'm an absolute rock star. This is just, oh my God, you made it, man. You made it. And then having the fear of God put in me, and I just had this insane panic attack, and the rest of the show I'm just like, no, you're still cool, man, this is still rock and roll, dude. It was like that kind of pressure. So I was like, okay, that's kind of why I got into this. I kind of missed that pressure of being on stage, and the events is just so much energy around events and things like that. So yeah, Bansko Nomad Fest.
I have a similar kind of experience. We have an app right now. We've got 100 and some odd users, but they use the thing all day, every day. It's how they do their job. And it's like, oh yeah, well, we patch. If there's a problem, we know. Patch, wait 5 minutes, near anything, we're good. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, having that kind of scrutiny. Yeah, having 800 people, they will give you some notes on things they'd like to see to work better.
Oh my God! Everybody telling me everything. It was great. I got a lot of, and I felt grateful that people felt comfortable giving me negative feedback as well. Not that there was anything that went wrong at all. The product is amazing and perfect. Don't tell anyone. It's perfect.
Rob Walling has a categorization for the incoming user requests, and one of them is like, oh yeah, the suggestion, it makes perfect sense, put it on the roadmap. That's exactly what we want to do. He's like, and then there's the bottom 10%, which is just your app should generate wind power. What are you talking about? Take the tinfoil off of your head. And then there's the messy middle with the 80% in the middle where you actually have to, think about it. But
yeah, no, what's cool about this is it's a conference app, but it's I'm servicing one general broader community of conferences. So it's kind of the same faces as seeing it. So I'm getting a lot of in-depth user product feedback and things like that. And I mean, the good thing about it is that people actually like it and it's good, but they kind of want it to do everything as well. This thing can't do your house laundry for you, can it? You know what I mean? It can't clean your room. It can't do everything, can it really? But I feel like there is some gestation of product market fit there coming. I kind of feel it. I get a lot of signal. I mean, I consider you guys a bit of signal for taking me on the podcast. I feel very flattered to do an interview with you guys and talk about the product. It's the first time I've spoken about it on air like this. So I'm grateful to have you guys with me, and you guys are musicians too.
I don't want to disparage my standards, but I will talk to any founder.
Really?
I love founders. I love hearing. No, I'm kidding. I'm giving you a hard time.
I was bigging you up, Justin.
I know. I getting scared. I had to turn myself back down. I got altitude fears.
No, but no, you guys are great.
I really like the pricing model though. Per attendee, that's a really good value metric for a conference organizer because they're going to get tickets. They get paid per attendee. So if you make more money when they make more money, that makes tons of sense. For people who continue to want more things though, maybe there's also a packaging play for you where you can have different tiers of packaging where you charge a different onboarding and a different per attendee price. I don't know what your pricing is but if people keep wanting you to do more and more and more things, this is modules and add-ons, which is just extra pricing, extra tiers.
Yeah, and I mean the problem is if you just leave me alone, I just keep building stuff anyway. So the problem is I just love working on it, and I just love continually building new features and stuff. Like I just finally built the like community events, so like anyone at the event can add events, and that's been like a big thing that like we don't need the administrator. Oh, here's another funny thing. The reason I made the Conference Cowboy thing, actually, we don't call the administrators of the app admins. We call them sheriffs because the sheriff's in charge. It's Conference Cowboy, baby. Let's go. The sheriff's in charge.
Stay with the brand. I love it.
Stay with the brand all the way. And well, because I thought you listen to a lot of podcasts on marketing. I listen to a lot of podcasts on everything. And one thing that always stayed with me is people kept saying like a product should be a transformational experience if someone buys it. Right. And so if I have this funny little mythology of cowboys and stuff, it's like you're kind of entering this world and then this product can transform your event. And it's like the other thing is events are so high pressure, right? People screaming at each other, people losing their minds, a lot of falling outs at conference, a lot of friendships break. You know what I mean? I just figured like, imagine the sheriff's in charge. And you're going to scream at somebody for being the sheriff of the app and they made a mistake. It's like, just relax. The show will go on. You can't scream at a sheriff. It's so ridiculous. That was some kind of thinking there. So there's a bit of that kind of thinking in there. But another thing as well is I think cowboys in code kind of has a bad connotation there. Like, oh, this is cowboy code or people aren't running things correctly. Like, who are these cowboys? I kind of thought, well, if you lean into that and you show them this is really a quality product, we can even change our association with these negative terms on cowboys. That's part of the transformation. We've shown you what it means to be a cowboy or something like that. You know what I mean?
I like that it puts you out on the frontier. You're on the fringe of society. You're an explorer. Yeah. I like it a lot.
The H1 on the website is the frontier of event apps.
Yeah. As soon as Justin said, because I got the website up, it's like, yep, it's right there.
Beautiful.
I got one more question for you, because this is something that always interests me. So you've gotten something off the ground. You're starting to get some traction. You've had some sales. And so you're now getting into, as you said, that area where people are providing you feedback and you're sussing out what you want to do. One of the things that drives me crazy about good software or software that starts out really good is it then does try to become everything. Like way outside of its lane, way outside of its boundaries. And it's at that point, the stuff just starts to fall apart. The core of the service starts to degrade. And it just drives me crazy because I have seen it happen on software that we have used as a company that we've moved away from because of that. So my question to you is, what is your mental process or where are your mental guardrails for, yes, this is something that I am going to consider. It probably will eventually be a feature, but yet it still keeps me in my lane versus this is a totally different piece of software. I need to just go build something else.
Yes. I'm kind of feeling that pull right now because it is having success in this space. Like I have real paying customers and like I'm signing new contracts and like the train's moving. But there's a pull from a lot of the customers. They want it to be a community management platform, kind of like Circle. So me and Justin, we met on Circle. There's a microconf Circle community. That's kind of why I joined the community. I was like, I need to get on a Circle app. I'm like, I know about microconf. Let me join. That kind of makes sense. Let me get comfortable with some community management software. And I look at it, I'm like, okay, this is different than an event app because the event app it's for that time period. And there's a natural, like people, a month after that event, it feels that like this community should not continually live on and live on and live on. If it's going to live on, there should be another real life conference and another event app for that one. And there's some pre-game before the conference, some post-game. But I think like if you try and consolidate a community platform and a conference app, that might be kind of what you're saying of like you're trying to do too many things. And then because I'm seeing my domain, like with my internal domain as I'm mapping what I'm building. And I'm like, it seems natural. And like all the conference organizers want it. I mean, they sold all these tickets and everybody tells you to have a community and just continue selling to them and all of that. And it's like, then they want to do events year round to that community. Maybe there's a way to do it, but I think it's a very touchy thing. And I think when customers think of things, everything looks so much simpler than it is. And the more complicated the software gets, adding things on is like, well, is this going to break something over here? I got to be more careful. There is a lot of value in being, I think, the only engineer and kind of a solo founder is like, I kind of keep all the context in my head. There are no meetings. The only meetings are sales meetings. Like there's no product discussion. or product discussion happens directly with the customer. I'm very aware of that, Aaron. I don't want to try and build the app that ends all apps. You know what I mean? It doesn't need to end the world. But maybe I would love to hear you elaborate upon that, because you said you even use some software professionally and then you saw them go another way. Like, I would love to hear that story if you could share.
Yeah. So I don't want to name names or call anybody out from school, but a lot of what we do as a consultancy is we have to manage people, and we have to manage our time, we have to manage our projects. So there's like a core set of things that we need to be able to do. And there's a lot of software out there that does that. And the problem that we kept running into, oddly in different ways, is that we would get a piece of software that does that core set of functionality for us. I can create users, I can track their time, I can create projects and tasks. Cool. But then suddenly it tries to do more things. It's like, oh, well, let's give you like a space where you can just like free think and free write. So we'll give you like a notepad or a whiteboard or something like that. And then, well, you need to also be able to push this to other systems. So let's go out here and let's integrate with all the existing project management systems that are already in place. And, oh, you should probably want to be able to invoice your clients. So let's build an invoicing management system. And all the time, the core of the system that I need is getting no attention, and it's just rotting on the vine.
And then they want to charge me more for it because they've added features I don't want.
Exactly. It's something that we've never asked for. And so it finally got to the point where it's just like, you know what, scratch all of this. We're just going to go and get one piece of software for each of the things that we want to do. And since we have done that, or as we have done that over time, everything has improved because these softwares, at least so far, have managed to stay mainly in their lanes. So we have something that tracks time. It does integrate a couple of ways and very specifically, and that's perfect. It doesn't try to be more than that.
If we want to name names in a positive way, Harvest. Harvest is killer. That's what we use for our time tracking.
Who is Harvest?
It's a time tracking software for people who manage their time hourly. It does invoicing. It does like 4 things. It's done exactly 4 things for like a decade. It does it amazingly well. And like, yeah, I mean, I've been annoyed at the fact that I can't get some things done that I need done that I've been requesting for a decade, but they don't add a ton of features and they don't charge unreasonably. It's like they know what their product does and it's very good at it.
That's very interesting.
And it's happened like just at different times over the years. And it always seems to follow the same path. It's like, cool, here's a core. And then suddenly some years later, it's like, it's just ballooned into something that's totally unusable and doesn't even work for us anymore. So it's scratch that, let's pick another one. And here's the new shiny thing with better workflows that stayed small and then it gets big. But we've had so much better luck with picking these things that stay focused, can integrate with one another. That's great, but they stay in their lane and they do such a good job. Interfaces don't suffer for it. New features on the daily. I don't need a 6th way to filter this thing, whatever.
The next time Atlassian redoes their UI, I'm going to lose my mind. The Harvest UI has been the same for a decade or more.
I want to look
it's
up
great.
Harvest now. I'm super curious. I'm writing that down. I'll be doing some research on them.
That's my story there. I don't like to see that. I understand the pull. I totally get it. And it does make sense. And it's so easy to just start inching in those direction. And by then you're a mile down the road and now you're 2 miles down. It's like there's no turning back.
I'm realizing this as well. And it's like, there's a lot of great ideas and maybe I'll build something. And then I'm like, oh, do I have to like keep supporting this kind of feature? Does this thing have to go? Like you said, the invoicing as well. Like I built that into there as well. Cause like it was needed, like 2 customers asked for it. I'm like, okay, like sure. Spend a couple of days grinding. I mean, it's fairly simple invoicing interface. But yeah, I mean, it's like, you scare me on that because I know the more stuff that gets in there. But the other thing about event apps is like, you need it to be a little social network. It's like a little WeChat just for that event. Like that's kind of the goal of the organizers. They want to put you in their world. So it kind of does need to like handle payments. The heart of the event app is the schedule. I've never seen any event app do this. I feel like none of them open you in the schedule. Conference Cowboy, you click the button for the app, it takes you to the schedule and it takes you to what's happening right now because there's a million things going on. I want to know that when I click this button, I get value as the attendee. Oh, the schedule, it's right here. Great. What's happening now? Great. And it tells me, and the little event card is a little green. It says happening now, a bit friendly. And it's the organizer can brand it their way, but it looks nice and it takes you straight there. Because the amount of, I go to events and I'm like, I'm just scrolling like for days and I'm here and there. I'm running into someone I know. I'm trying to network with somebody. I'm feeling shy and all this stuff. I want it to just give me value. Boom. Okay. Thank you. And that's really, I think, why a lot of people like it is that it just gives you value as the attendee immediately.
One of my pet peeves with conferences is when I'm looking at a conference to go to and I pull up the landing page and I don't know when it is, I don't know where it is. And like, there's about to be a microconf in Portland. For all my friends who are coming to Portland, I will see you there. We will be there. But if you go to the microconf landing page, it says April 12th to 14, Portland, Oregon. It's above the fold. It's right at the top, And for you, it's exactly the exact same thing with the app. It's like, if I'm at the conference and I'm using this app, it's probably because I want to know where the hell I'm supposed to be.
I want to know what's going on. I want to know who's here. I want to know what the hell's going on. I want to know who this speaker is. I want the speaker to be able to edit his own profile or her profile. Maybe she wants to change something. Maybe the LinkedIn that they sent to the organizer was their old one or something. Or now they've got an Instagram they want to promote or whatever. They can put all of that in there. Like every profile has a link tree. And I've tried to keep that kind of domain as simple as possible, those Lego blocks, so like people can become speakers, they can become sponsors, I'm trying to build out the frame of thinking about how these people are related to each other to be extensible. Some places you need exhibitors, some places you don't, some places speakers, sometimes work, so that the organizer can really create the app so it feels like their own. It's got their own logo on the home screen. They need to feel like it's theirs as well. And yeah, it drives me insane. The amount of conferences I used to go to, and I just scroll, and I'm just scrolling, especially if it's like days long event. Nomad Cruise, 11 days. Glad to say they're a customer now. Looking for the next production run for Conference Cowboy will be in a couple of weeks, 14th of February to the 25th of February. We've got Nomad Cruise 16.
Are you going on the boat?
Me, of course. I'll live on that boat. This is the world tour I wanted. The app is my band now. I get to tour the world with it. Of course, I'm going on the boat. It's amazing. Life-changing events. And use Conference Cowboy for affiliate code discount. If you want to look up Nomad Cruise. I can just keep selling my product or you can cut me off. I'm kidding. I can talk about this thing forever. But this thing has consumed my life, but in such a positive way. Like, it's such fulfilling work. A friend of mine told me the other day that my company is worthless because, I've turned about $10,000, let's say, for a year. And he's like, oh, it's a worthless company. I said, it's a priceless company. This is what a priceless company looks like. It feeds my soul. This is what you're supposed to do with your life. I found it. I'm lucky. This is great. We can connect people.
If you get joy from the process and joy from the doing, then that's going to give you the staying power to get the growth that you need. Patience is a killer of a lot of businesses.
Living cost of Southeast Asia, I never die. You cannot kill me. I'm in a 4-star hotel for a great price. You cannot get rid of me.
And almost getting paid to live there. It's pretty great.
It's great.
Milan, it's been a great pleasure. I will definitely look you up when I find myself in Vietnam, which may or may not happen this year. We will see. But thank you for coming on the pod. Thanks for sharing your wisdom, background, and experience. Where can folks connect with you if they'd like to get a hold of you?
Yeah, I'm active on Instagram. If you type in Milan Milutinovic _92, that's me. You'll see I've got a cowboy hat. You can find me on LinkedIn as well, Milan Milutinovic, or you can look up Conference Cowboy. You can go on conferencecowboy.app. That's so you can see our landing page there. You can learn a bit more about their product. And there's even some YouTube videos of me with the MVP. You can see I'm kind of keeping a historical record of the product as it's evolving as well, so that like in 5 years I can do like an anthology series of Conference Cowboy. It's like the Beatles anthology or something. I'm like a retrospective documentary and I'm like sitting behind a camera. You guys can be interviewing me and I'm like, this is where this happened and blah, blah. Tell some great stories. So I'm trying to document the process, and some of that goes public and some of it's in the archive as well.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for being here. Pleasure to get to meet you, get to chat with you. Aaron, always a pleasure. Thanks for cruising along with us.
You bet.
And we'll see you next time around. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Love your work, guys.
Thanks for cruising along with us on SaaS That App. We hope you grabbed some insights that were inspiring, actionable, or at least entertaining.
If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review.
Until next time, keep building, keep growing, and keep those apps sassy.